Welcome in to Let's Be Honest. I am your host, Kristin Cavallari, and I have a very good episode for you guys today. We're going to be talking all about holiday eating and how to get rid of toxins in your homes. And to do that with me, I'm talking to certified nutritionist coach, Ivey Leidy. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited that you're here and you're glowing. I mean, true, like your skin, that's something I've always noticed about you. You are living your best life with how you eat, and it shows through your skin. The way you glow is so amazing. So I'm so excited to talk about
Thank
all
you.
the things you did that.
Yeah, I think it's the diet. I eat a ridiculous amount of salmon, and I think it's just salmon skin.
It is, and it looks good. I also wish that we lived in the same city because I want to have a dinner party with you. I look at everything that you're making for dinner, and my mouth is always
Right?
just
Well,
watering.
likewise, we should do it.
I know we got to figure that out. So, all right, I want to start with a little bit about your personal story. I know that you've said that from a very young age, you learned to associate thinness and beauty with happiness. And I think that this is really common and something that's been shoved down kids' throats. You've said that at the age of 11, you became bulimic, which is crazy for me to think about because my oldest is 11. And then at age
Yeah.
12, you started binging, purging, and exercising religiously. And by 14, you were both bulimic and anorexic. For most of your adolescent and adult life, you went from binging to restricting to yo-yo dieting, which I can also relate to. And it wasn't until you gave birth to your first child that your perspective shifted, which I also went through. So I think your story is more common than we think. And I think what you overcame is absolutely incredible. But I'm curious, when you had your first kid, what shifted in you to have this new perspective?
Well, I think when you become a mom, it's not just about you anymore. You're responsible, for obviously for your child, but also you want to stay around and you want to be your best self for them. You want to set an example. So really it just changed my perspective on what really matters, right? And really,
Yeah.
not that I think you can ever fix an eating disorder. I think it's you always got to work on it, but at least it made it so, I've got much more to my life now. There's much
Yeah.
more of an impact now than just like this thing that is so exhausting, right? I mean, the whole eating thing, having a disorder, having any sort of disordered eating is exhausting. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it gives you a real purpose, I think, when you become a mom. You have this new mission, which is what I found. Talking about the eating disorder thing, I remember in high school, I mean, it was really common, and this is almost 20 years ago. I remember friends trying to teach me how to throw up with a toothbrush. And now, as a mom, I mean, it just breaks my heart looking back on some of those memories. And, those times were before social media. We only had TV and magazines to have this perfect image being thrown or shoved down our throats. And so now I think, with social media and kids just being flooded with these images constantly, I would imagine that the eating disorder rate has just completely skyrocketed.
Yeah, and talk about being honest, like what we're seeing on social media, everyone's totally filtered and they're not eating
Yeah.
what they're saying they're eating, and what I eat in a day is not really what she's eating in a day. And
Yeah.
if we were all just honest about it, then I don't think it would be so hyper focused and we'd be so obsessed with, the way that we look and how our bodies are and.
I agree. I agree. And I talk about this a lot, but I think, with all of the apps now and everything, I mean, you can change your face, your body. We have AI influencers, which blows my
Everything.
mind. Like nothing is real anymore. So we're
Nothing
chasing
is
this
real.
image. It doesn't exist. It's unattainable. But I'm curious what you tell your clients who are in this place of being bulimic or anorexic, or maybe they honestly just have body dysmorphia, because I think that's really common too. So where do you start on someone's journey who is in this place? What does that conversation look like?
I'm not a doctor, so I think that you really do have to seek treatment if you want to get better. Um, but I really think that if we were all just mindful and if we could kind of think about food in a different way and really be conscious of how we use food, how we, do we use it as relief? Do we use it as punishment? Do we use it as a reward? How do we abuse it? If we just start learning about ourselves and listening to ourselves, then, we intuitively know what makes me feel my best, what doesn't make me feel my best, thinking about how you behave when you're stressed is important. So I think really listening to your body is the most important thing, and listening to figure out your relationship with food and how to help your relationship with food.
Yeah, absolutely. Because people do use it as a coping mechanism.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work too. I don't say this lightly. It's a lot of work that you have to do on yourself, and constantly, I'm in a really healthy place, but I work at it a lot. And I
Yeah,
think most
absolutely.
women do.
I do too. I really do. And, that brings me to my next conversation of, I think the holidays can be a challenging time for people who have issues surrounding food, because I think it can bring up anxiety, or, maybe some people don't necessarily have issues, but they just want to make sure that they can stay on track throughout the holiday season. I think it can be really easy to get derailed. So I want to talk about how to make some healthy choices, or smart choices, I should say, during the holiday season. So I think, holiday season, we're all faced with a lot of the same things, like alcohol, for example. So I want to talk about some of the things that we're going to be faced with. And I think let's just start right away with alcohol. So I want to know, and what I love about you too is, I think your approach to health is very realistic. You're not like, oh, you should never drink alcohol. Like, you love your tequila.
Right.
I see it. I love my tequila too. And so what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to alcohol this holiday season? My guess is eggnog, probably not the best choice. What are the drinks that we should be reaching for?
So here's the thing about alcohol. There's always going to be, today you'll read, alcohol is the worst thing you can put in your body. Tomorrow you're going to read a different article that says, actually in moderation, alcohol is good for your health. So I think you really, again, have to listen to yourself, and again, how you use alcohol, or if you abuse alcohol. But if you are going to drink, the clearer alcohol is always the better. So it's the darker the alcohol means the longer it's aged, the longer it's fermented. And during that process, a compound is created called congeners. Those are really hard for your liver to metabolize. So you're metabolizing not only the ethanol and the alcohol, but also the congeners. That's why you have a terrible hangover.
I did not
if you drink
know
darker
that.
alcohols. Yeah. So you're going to feel a lot better drinking a clearer alcohol. And again, as far as like the sugar, I think in an average margarita, there's like 35 grams of sugar and 700 calories. So so the drink I do is like tequila, fresh squeezed orange, lime, and then club soda. And then,
So good. That's my go-to also. Well, I usually just I'll do tequila, soda, lime juice, and jalapenos, but you've turned me on to the orange juice too. That just gives it that little extra. Oh,
right. It cuts it a little. It gives it a little sweetness, but you're not adding a bunch of sugar.
Yeah, it's so good. And then what about any special hangover cures? I'm just so excited to always hear other people's ideas. I feel like I kind of have like my tricks on lock, but I always am curious if people have other things I can be adding in.
So a hangover is not only like dehydration and what I said about the congeners, but it also drops your blood sugar so much. So trying to keep your blood sugar stable, like prioritizing protein, instead of reaching for greasy foods and sugar that you want when you're hungover, focusing on protein. But honestly, if you're really hungover, I don't think anything is going to help.
No, it's not. That's what I've learned, especially the older you get.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so eggs and bacon, not maybe the worst choice in the morning.
Yeah, eggs are good.
You probably don't eat bacon, do you?
No, I don't eat bacon.
You don't. I know. I knew it. Okay. I want to talk about Thanksgiving dishes specifically. Thanksgiving is, of course, right around the corner. So I want to know what are some things that we can be doing so that the meal is still nutritious and keeps us on track. Like, I know, well, let me back up. I think sometimes it's okay to just give in. Like, if you want to eat all the mashed potatoes and all the stuffing, have all the pies, like, go for it. I think at the end of the day, we only live once. But I have in the past made like a mashed cauliflower in place of mashed potatoes. They're amazing. I don't think anyone ever misses the mashed potatoes. So what other tips and tricks do you have for us?
Yeah, I don't think anyone even notices. I made mashed cauliflower mash and nobody even noticed that it wasn't mashed potatoes.
No, people don't know.
So I love that. Yeah, I think the traditional Thanksgiving dishes are super caloric, really high in sugar and really high in fat. So you can redo them. Like a sweet potato casserole, you do not need to add sugar to it. Sweet potatoes are really sweet. Roasting vegetables instead of doing like what is that thing? The
The
green bean
green bean
casserole,
casserole. Yeah.
where you add canned soup and fried onions and stuff. Which I know we all, like you said, everyone enjoys those traditional Thanksgiving meals that they love, but you can put a spin on them. I did this years ago on my Instagram. I kind of remade a bunch of things that we like. I remade stuffing, but just using squash and quinoa instead of
Oh,
croutons or whatever it's usually made with.
yeah.
And then, yeah, and doing like, I think pecan pie has a ridiculous amount of sugar and like 600 calories in a slice.
Yeah.
So doing, baked apples or something where you're still getting that sentiment, but you're not, ingesting a ton of stuff that's going to make you feel terrible the next day.
Let's chat about one of my favorite children's vitamins, you guys, which is Haya. Did you know that typical children's vitamins are basically just candy in disguise? They're filled with 2 teaspoons of sugar, unhealthy chemicals, and other gummy junk that growing kids should just never eat. That's why Haya was created, the pediatrician-approved, super-powered, chewable vitamin. Haya fills in the most common gaps in modern children's diets to provide the full-body nourishment our kids need with a yummy taste they love. Formulated with the help of nutritional experts, Haya is pressed with a blend of 12 organic fruits and veggies, then supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12, C, zinc, folate, and many others to help support immunity, energy, brain function, mood, concentration, teeth, bones, and more. It's non-GMO, vegan, dairy-free, allergy-free, gelatin-free, nut-free, and literally everything else you can imagine. My kids honestly love these vitamins. It can be very challenging to get really good stuff in our kids sometimes. If you're parents, you get it, but I've never had a problem getting these in my kids. They also love that they all have their own cool bottle and it comes with stickers so they can decorate it how they want to, which again, we know kids love to do. Everyone wants their own special thing. And you guys, I've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. Receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hiyahealth.com/honest. This deal is not available on their regular website. So go to hiyahealth.com/honest and get your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults. All right, my next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I try to drink this literally every single morning when I can, and I gave AG1 a try because honestly, I get sick of taking so many vitamins. I've currently been taking handfuls and handfuls, and this is just a really easy, nice way to get in a bunch of vitamins and minerals first thing in the morning without having to swallow all of those pills. I like drinking AG1 first thing in the morning, before coffee, before working out. Really, it's the way I start my day, and it just makes me feel like I can take on the day. I've got energy. I'm ready to go. It just gets me moving in the morning. Since I've been drinking AG1, I've noticed an overall feeling of health. I mean, like I said, I definitely have a lot of energy. My skin, my hair, my nails, everything just feels really shiny and glowy. And I've noticed mental clarity, focus, really all the things that you want. Why take a bunch of different things when you can just mix 1 scoop of powder and water once a day? For me, that is heaven. AG1 was designed with ease in mind so you can live healthier and better without having to complicate your routine. And as you guys know, I travel a lot. So I also get the single serving AG1 travel packs so that I never have to miss a day. I just mix the powder into ice cold water and drink it first thing each morning, and that's it. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/honest. That's drinkag1.com/honest. Check it out, guys. I love being able to talk to you guys about Branch Basics, which is household cleaning supplies. They are non-toxic, they're hyperallergenic, free of fragrance, hormone disruptors, and harmful preservatives. They're baby, kid, and pet safe, clean, and cost effective. And for all of my parents out there, when our kids are really little, when they're babies, they also live on the floor and they're constantly picking things up off of the floor and putting it in their mouth. I think sometimes we forget that even our pets, I mean, they basically live on the floor. So we want the floors and everything to be clean for them as well and safe. I love the Branch Basics Premium Starter Kit because it provides you with everything you need to replace all of your toxic cleaning products in your home. They have this awesome refill model. So once you run out, the only thing you need to repurchase is the concentrate and oxygen boost. If you suffer from eczema, allergies, or asthma, you are definitely going to want to make the switch to Branch Basics. So I just think it's really important to make sure everything you're using to clean the floor, the countertops, the windows, everything, you have peace of mind that it is safe for you and your whole family. As you guys know, I'm a huge health nut. So I am always trying to make my house toxin free, always looking for ways to improve. I discovered Branch Basics probably about a year ago, actually from my doctor, and I haven't looked back since. So you guys, you can save 15% and get free shipping on your starter kit when you use code Let's Be Honest at www.branchbasics.com. Again, that's code Let's Be Honest for 15% off plus free shipping when you purchase a starter kit.
Okay, so I think if you're hosting Thanksgiving, that's easy to do. That's actually why I love hosting Thanksgiving at my house, because we will make some of those healthier options. Right. What if that's not an option for people? They're going to their cousin's house, let's say, and it's going to be all of the traditional dishes. What are 2 dishes that you're like, go for it, have fun with it? And what are 2 that you're like, I just would stay away?
Okay. And this can be said too, if you're going to any sort of holiday party, the first thing you want to fill up on would be the veggies and anything fibrous. So any greens, anything that you can physically fill up on first is going to leave less room for, the mashed potatoes, the stuffing, the pie, all of that. So anything that looks like a real vegetable, choose that first.
Love that.
And turkey is great if it's just like herb roasted turkey, protein and vegetables are your friend.
Okay, so that should be the main part of our dish, and then maybe a little side of the stuffing or whatever it is.
Exactly. Just don't start in on that marshmallow covered sweet potato casserole. Start with the healthier things first.
Okay, that makes sense. And then I know, I look at my diet sort of as a bank account. So for example, if I know I'm going to be going hard on Thanksgiving, maybe a few days leading up to it, I'll eat salads or just definitely more protein and veggies, won't have any sugar, and a few days after. What does a week leading up to an event like that look like for you, and a few days after, if you know you are going to be eating more stuff that you don't normally eat?
Exactly what you just said. So really prioritizing protein and anything high in fiber. So what fiber actually does is slows down the absorption of any sugar. So if you add more fiber into your diet, you're not going to get those blood sugar spikes. And what happens when you're low in blood sugar, that's when you get cravings for all of the stuff we're talking about. So really keeping that stable with protein and fibrous vegetables, leading up. And then water, like drinking a ton of water. Yes. It's really key. 40% of the time we confuse thirst for hunger. So just being more mindful of, even if you're getting ready to go to your party or to Thanksgiving, is drinking a full glass of water while you're doing your makeup, little practices like that can really help.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you about that because, with all these holiday parties, yes, I think sometimes food's being passed around or there's a buffet, the drinks are flowing. It's a whole thing. And it's really easy to just kind of get lost in all of that. I've heard people give tips of before you go to a holiday party, have a little snack so you're not starving when you get there, so that you're not just mindlessly grabbing at food. So drink a big glass of water before you go to a party, maybe have a little healthy nibble. That's going to help keep you on track.
Totally. And also, I think a lot of us do this when we know we have a big party to do or to go to. We kind of starve ourselves all day, which is the worst thing you can do, because then you get to the party and you inhale champagne and pigs in a blanket or whatever they're serving, right? Because you're starving and you're thirsty. So don't.
And now you have a little buzz going from the champagne. So then you're like, screw it, I'm going to eat whatever I want. Yeah,
exactly. But before you go, if you do find yourself really hungry and you're about to go out, a few olives or almonds or something that you know is going to tide you over.
I'm just curious. Do you have a sweet tooth at all? Or are you someone that just completely stays away from sugar? I feel like you stay away. You stay away, don't you?
So Years ago when I started really being conscious of my health, I stopped doing, like I said, the binging. So I think it all depends on the person, right? So for me, I really can't allow myself little cheat meals and little cheat days because it does the opposite. It almost nurtures
Yeah.
a binge disorder or an eating disorder. So
Okay,
for
yeah.
me, I really did cut out all refined sugars. So I'll still do, I mean, fruit is I
Yeah.
love fruit. I know that sounds crazy, but once you get super clean, fruit is your candy. Like I look
I
forward to it,
agree.
and that's what I crave. I don't crave cake and ice cream, and I really don't,
Oh, that's so
and
good.
I know that's not easy.
It's not easy, but I agree with you. And it's so crazy that we've almost been conditioned to think that fruit is bad for us too, right? That it's so much sugar. But I
Yeah,
think fruit is one of the best things that you can eat. And I agree with you that
totally.
when you are really healthy and clean, it tastes it tastes like heaven. I love fruit.
Right. And real fructose, real sugar, and it's got fiber in it. Like I said, fiber is going to
Yep.
slow down the absorption of sugar anyway. You're not getting a huge blood sugar spike as if you were eating like a bag of Twizzlers. It's
Right.
just not apples to apples. It's just not.
No, it's
Yeah.
not at all. And I'm big on only reading ingredients on labels. Like I probably should look at sugar, but I really kind of don't. I'll stay away from it if it's not real. And that's kind of what I've always told people is my like food philosophy is just eating food as close to its natural state as possible. So
That's the
staying
thing.
away from all of these chemicals, these man-made foods that are they're horrible for us.
And it's not even food. It's like a distant relative of food. And it's like 60% of the standard American diet is this byproduct of food, So like what you
Yes.
said, as close to its natural state as it can be. If it's a real food, eat it and don't worry about the calories and the sugar.
Right.
Like that should
Exactly.
be and that's not complicated. We feel like it's so complicated to eat healthy and clean, but it's really not. It's just hard to do it in our society because
Yeah.
everything's processed.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, speaking of our society, I want to talk about diet culture. I hate diet culture, and I feel like you and I are probably aligned on this, where it's more of a lifestyle, right? I don't think that there's like a quick fix. I don't really think that there's a diet that actually works. I kind of follow like an 80-20 lifestyle where I eat really healthy 80% of the time, and the other 20 I indulge. I eat whatever I want, and that kind of like helps me stay sane. But I am curious, is there anything that you do or that you help your clients with if they're getting ready for a wedding or a big event, maybe even just a beach vacation where you can kind of like really keep it tight for like the 2 weeks leading up to something?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is to cut out refined sugar and processed foods. So like we just said,
Yeah.
really focusing on eating real foods. But it is a lifestyle. So it has to be realistic and attainable. I say this to all of my clients. Like if you're not actually going to implement this into your life, it's never going to work. So like those yo-yo diets, those crash diets where it's, you're paleo or what all of them, they work for the amount of time you're on the diet. And then when you go back to living your life, it's a completely different story. So it's the fact that we do these diets is really frustrating, but
So I agree with you. I did keto coupled with intermittent fasting for probably about a year, and I was tiny. I mean, honestly, probably the skinniest I've ever been. I actually think I was too skinny. But as soon as I stopped, I gained more weight, and it was really hard for me to actually stabilize. And I mean, keto, I was afraid to eat a carrot or I was afraid to eat a banana, because that's how they train you, is to be afraid of this stuff. And I think
is that the one where,
ultimately
sorry to interrupt you. That's the one
no,
where
you're
you
good.
can't eat beans. You can't eat
Yes. No,
can't eat
it's like
anything, right?
you basically can't eat anything except for some vegetables, not even all of them, and
But
protein
not all vegetables.
and fat. Like you're just eating protein and fat. But it completely messed up my metabolism. It literally took me a year to like get everything back to normal. So I think diets are actually really scary and they can mess you up long term.
I
So
agree. And
love
I
hearing
think your
that.
body functions at its best when you have a variety of plants and proteins, right? That's what your body wants. That's how we were designed to eat. We were not designed to eat just whatever keto you were eating, chicken and cheese, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it's not sustainable, and I think there are probably serious nutrient deficiencies that go along with a lot of these diets.
I was just going to say, I mean, talking about eating, you know, the variety of fruits and vegetables, we need antioxidants. Like that's where our body thrives. We need all of these vitamins
We
and
need
minerals.
fiber in
Yes.
order to process any nutrients. Like,
Yeah.
This episode of Let's Be Honest is sponsored by Regain Couples Therapy by BetterHelp. Whether you're in the honeymoon phase or partners for life, setting aside time to listen to each other and work through conflicts can transform your relationship. While I might be single right now, guys, I've definitely been in my fair share of relationships in the past, and I really have sworn by couples therapy. I think just having a safe place, an unbiased opinion can be extremely beneficial for both parties to be able to voice their needs, just put things out on the table in a safe space that they know will be reciprocated. I swear by therapy. If your relationship is having ups and downs, and don't worry, it's normal, or you want to work on yourselves together, consider giving Regain a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. I love that they let you switch therapists for no additional charge because really that's what it's all about is bonding with your therapist. The best relationships are always the ones worth fighting for. Try something new in therapy. Visit regain.com/behonest today to get 10% off your first month. That's regain.com/behonest. Again, that's regain.com/behonest. I'm excited to talk to you guys about Canopy's new shower head. Have you guys ever experienced a dry, itchy scalp or ever wondered why your color maybe isn't lasting as long as your hairdresser promised? Well, unfiltered, mineral-filled water could be the reason why. Did you know hard water is a leading cause of damaged hair and dry, irritated skin? And that about 85% of the United States uses hard water filled with dissolved minerals and added chlorine. That's where Canopy's new filtered shower head comes in. Canopy, known for their beauty hacks and reimagined devices, has revolutionized the filtered shower head. Dermatologists recommended this unique 3-stage filtration system greatly reduces contaminants and odors in your shower water, leaving you with healthy hair and glowing skin. Best of all, the Canopy filtered shower head is hassle-free. Installation is a breeze, and its unique quick-release filter replacement feature allows for seamless filter replacement unlike any others on the market. It honestly is such a breeze to install yourself. If I can do it, you guys, you can do it. And I've noticed a difference. My hair and my skin are definitely feeling really great. Go to getcanopy.co to save $25 on your Canopy filtered shower head purchase today with Canopy's hassle-free filter subscription. Even better, my listeners can use code HONEST at checkout to save an additional 10% off your Canopy purchase. Hurry, you guys, your hair and skin will thank you, I promise. Okay, guys, I want to tell you about this underwear that I'm obsessed with, and I just can't keep it to myself. It's too good. It's the Fits Everybody collection by Skims, and I feel like it's their best kept secret. The feeling is like no other underwear I've worn before. It's so stretchy and soft. It just kind of melts on your body, and you forget you're even wearing it. I love it, and I think everyone should experience this level of comfort. I've been wearing Skims for, probably about a year now, and I just recently tried the Fits Everybody collection. You guys, I'm not to be dramatic, but it's life-changing. I'm honestly going to replace all of my underwear ASAP. Skims is creating the next generation of underwear for every body. My favorite piece is my Fits Everybody thong. It just, like I said, it melts on your body. It goes away. It's so comfortable. I'm so obsessed with the thongs that I'm going to throw out all of my old ones and I'm replacing all of them with Fits Everybody. The Fits Everybody collection of underwear is super lightweight and molds to your body. The buttery soft fabric stretches to twice its size without ever losing shape, meaning you get a perfect fit every single time. It's available in sizes extra, extra small to 4X. Believe the hype, you guys. Skims has over 100,000 5-star reviews for a reason. The Fits Everybody collection and more perfect fit essentials are available now at skims.com. Plus, get free shipping on orders over $75. After you place your order, be sure to let them know that I sent you. Select podcast in the survey and be sure to select my show in the drop-down menu that follows. And if you're looking for perfect gifts for the whole family, Skims just launched their biggest holiday gift shop ever, also available at skims.com.
All right, I want to talk about some just general health stuff. So when clients come to you who are just first starting out on this health journey, where do they start? What's like the first thing that you have them do?
Look at their diet, see what they're eating,
Yeah.
and really, really being honest with themselves and being honest with me. Because if they're not honest with me or themselves, there's no point in they're wasting their time and mine.
Yeah.
So really looking at what you're eating. I think your diet is paramount.
Yeah.
You know, really thinking. Yeah. And you don't really realize until you get down to the nitty-gritty what you're experiencing, any sort of ailments. Usually clients come to me because they're experiencing something like high inflammatory markers or their cholesterol is really high. It's usually a specific thing that they're trying to fix and they don't want to go the medical route. And then when they start to peel back the layers, they realize what food really does for you and how it can really be your medicine or your poison. So those are the great success stories, is when you really learn so much about yourself and realize everything else that improves, not just that one high cholesterol score that you had.
So if you could only give someone 5 things to eliminate, whether that be 5 things in the diet or, you know, some things in your home, what would those 5 things be?
Like, other than dairy, refined sugar, corn, wheat, and soy.
I love it. No, I know. There's your 5.
I think the one thing that we have got to eliminate is processed foods. And I know I sound like a broken record, but it is what is killing us. It's what's making us sick and our kids sick. You know, I mean, we're one of the very few countries that has adult diabetes in children. You know, it's scary. And if we don't get a grip on it, it's only going to get worse. And I will say there is a definite movement. You can feel it, you can see it, of people wising up and wanting to change and really realizing that what is on the grocery store shelves is not like the right thing for you to be buying. Just because it's on the shelf doesn't mean that it's safe and that you should be feeding it to your kids. So people are really, you know, they're educating themselves, which is great to see.
I agree. And to your point, even like, I think Whole Foods specifically, people think like, oh, well, I got it at Whole Foods, it must be good for you. Yeah. And it is just not true at all. You have to read ingredient labels on everything. So I would say, because people ask me this a lot of like, well, what are 5 ingredients to stay away from? Because for a lot of people, this is foreign territory. This is completely new.
And it's really hard. It's really hard to educate yourself on, because there's so many different names for sugar and there's so many different names for artificial sugar. So going back to what we said before, if you don't recognize it, if it says maltodextrose or something, your body is not going to recognize it, right? So if you're reading it and that's what it says, don't buy it.
Oh, I like
that. And I know that it's in everything, but like, if you don't know what it is, then you shouldn't be eating it.
Yeah.
Right?
If you don't know what it is, your body's not going to know what it is.
Exactly. And your body won't know what to do with it, you know? And a lot of these toxins that we bring in, that we eat, that we have in our environment, you know, they get stored in the body because our body doesn't know what to do with it.
Ugh, I know. It makes me sick, actually. Also, food is, of course, a huge area, but I think we sometimes forget that our homes can be harboring a ton of toxins as well. So for example, a couple of years ago, I discovered that scented garbage bags are full of chemicals, which when you think about it, obviously that makes sense, but I just didn't think about it. And now, of course, I only buy unscented. But what are some areas in the home specifically that people can be doing or swapping things out to remove some of the toxins?
Okay, so not to really geek out, but you could read about this on my website, but there are some chemicals to really avoid. So chlorine bleach would be one of them in your household products. Phthalates, parabens, which I'm sure you've heard of, any heavy metals, to take out of not just your cleaning supplies, but everything that you put on your skin and anything you spray in your home. SLS, sodium lauryl sulfate. That's what gives us the foaming agent in cleaning products. and which we don't
Oh.
need, but we've been conditioned to think that foaminess, is synonymous with clean, and it's not. So I know that's a really hard thing to like read about these chemicals and try and identify them and eliminate them. But there's so many things that you can swap out. So there are a bunch of brands, like Attitude is one brand that's really great for cleaning products, but you can also make your own, which sounds crazy to a lot of people, but like baking soda, vinegar, alcohol, those are really good cleaning agents. Hydrogen peroxide instead of bleach. And those are completely non-toxic. I mean, most of them,
you post your recipe for that. I screenshot it and I've made my own, and you put essential oils in it. You can do whatever scent you want. It's great. I use it all the time.
And they're like more effective than the stuff you're buying on the grocery store shelf. But there are some brands that are really great, and there are more coming to market that, are better for and healthier for your home. So
I do think we live in a good time where now some of this stuff is way more accessible than it has been in the past, which makes me so happy. Another thing is candles. I don't think people even realize how horrible candles can be for you.
Fragrance in general. So this is when I just touched on phthalates. So phthalates they're a plasticizer. They're used in plastics to make things pliable, but they're always used in fragrance to be a carrier for fragrance. And so even when you're putting it on your skin, you're putting, your skin is your biggest organ. You're putting that plastic right on your skin, and it's really disrupting your endocrine system, which is a whole another thing to geek out about. But
we could do a whole other podcast just on that.
We could do a whole but
yeah, they
really affect but it affects everything from your hormones to your endocrine system kind of is your control tower that controls everything. Hormones, your thyroid, so really minimizing your toxic exposure is going to help with a whole all of your holistic health.
Everything. Yeah. And I mean, makeup, all beauty products as well. Are there any beauty brands that you love that you really stand by?
Yes. I love RMS.
Yep.
I love Ilia is great. I love Talk Beauty is a new one that I really love. And same goes for skincare too. Like it's in, it's in kind of everything. But now there's so many brands that are really great.
Are there any websites that yeah, exactly. Are there any websites, like I know Keto is one that you can go to where they've kind of vetted these brands for you? Yeah. What other websites do you know of?
Sephora has like a clean beauty section. You can always go to my website and shop my e-commerce.
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's becoming more prevalent. Like you said, there are more companies that are, it's more accessible now to find it. But Keto is a great one. I love Keto.
I love Keto too. I really do. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. And then I sort of think, we've talked about toxins in the home. We've talked about food, what you're putting in your body, on your body. I think the last piece to the puzzle is your mental state. And something that I've really become mindful of in the last couple of years is the way that I talk to myself. And I really think that, at first it's just becoming aware of these negative thoughts. I think no matter what, we all have some sort of negative thought pattern, and it's becoming aware of it and then flipping that negative thought pattern with something positive. But so I'm really curious, what's the conversation that you have with yourself? What does that look like?
So do you know what I think about a lot is when I look in the mirror and I'm not happy about what I look like or how my body looks, I think about what that would translate to if someone was saying that to my daughter, if my daughter was saying that to herself. I think about that a lot because what we say to ourselves is so powerful. It stays with us all day, and our bodies are these beautiful machines that perform so many functions for us, that do amazing things like create children. And, I think if we were to just show ourselves a little more love, everything else might fall into place, right? And that goes for food, for what you put on your body, what you put in your body. Just respect your body and love it and be kind to it, in all senses of it.
Yeah.
You need to be kind.
We need to be kind to ourselves for sure. I know a lot of people who use like a daily affirmation. I've had mantras in the past. Do you have any of that kind of stuff, or it is more just like you wouldn't want your daughter talking to herself like this?
Yeah. Or I wouldn't want anyone talking to someone I loved,
Yeah.
right? And you do it, you have to love yourself, right? Like I wouldn't want to hear anyone speaking to anyone that I love in that way, putting them down
Right.
because, right? I mean, because we're all great and we all deserve to be living our best lives. And that's not helpful, putting ourselves down or putting anyone else down. You know, that doesn't
No, I agree.
help anything.
Nope, completely agree. Well, Ivey, you are such an inspiration. You guys at home, if you do not follow her, trust me, you need to. Ivey, tell everybody where they can find you.
Living with Ivey, Ivey EY. You can go to my website too, livingwithivey.com, and read all about the geeky stuff that I tried to make you talk about.
I think it's all really amazing and important stuff. And you post a lot of your recipes, and your food is incredible. Yeah. So people are going to want
and
to.
I will say, like, you know, everything has to be like the recipes. Nobody wants to make a recipe that's got 72 ingredients and 90 steps. Like, I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. And the same goes for, like, you know, like we were just talking about reading all of our labels. Like, if we can just simplify things, I hope that I am able to simplify things for people and help people that way, in a realistic way that, you know, makes sense.
You show people that eating healthy does not have to be boring, which I think is really important too. So you guys definitely check out her website for sure. And thank you so much for being here. It's so good chatting with you.
This was so much fun. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Ivey.